All right, strap in, everyone. Today we're going deep into AI.
Really deep.
I've got this whole pile of research papers on how AI systems actually understand things.
Oh, yes.
And let me tell you, it's some seriously mind-bending stuff.
It is.
I mean, we're talking about everything from, like, coding theory to those cutting-edge models. Everyone's talking about BERT and style again.
Right, right.
Prepare to have your assumptions, well, challenged, I guess.
It is fascinating, to see how these AI systems, they're practically developing their own languages.
Right.
Yeah. Built on math to try and make sense of the world.
Huh?
And we're going to see how they take like images or text even and translate that into a format they can actually use.
So it's almost like AI is learning to, like, speak math.
You got it.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to decode this whole encoder idea.
Mm-hmm.
I keep seeing it pop up, like in this paper on Variational Autoencoders, 1312.614 VV11.pdf.
Right, yeah. That paper talks about a probabilistic encoder. Now, I know that might sound kind of intimidating, but the idea itself is actually pretty elegant.
Right.
Imagine trying to explain, I don't know, like a really complicated concept to someone,
Okay.
but you can only use emojis.
Okay. I can see where this is going.
Yeah, you'd have to get creative to represent that idea, right?
Yeah.
Using just this limited set of symbols.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically what an encoder does.
Okay.
It takes complex info, like a whole image or a sentence, and translates it into this simplified mathematical representation, the kind of thing an AI can actually grasp.
Gotcha. So instead of emojis, we're talking about vectors and matrices, which are kind of like the AI's version of a secret code.
Exactly. And just like we've got different codes for different purposes, right?
Yeah.
Morse codes, secret agents, ciphers, you name it.
Right.
Well, different AI models use different types of encoders, too.
Okay.
It all depends on what kind of information they're dealing with.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to this BERT model. In this paper, 1T10.04805V2.pdf, they call it bidirectional, which seems to be a big deal.
Oh, yeah, it is.
What's the significance of that?
Imagine trying to understand a joke, right?
Right.
But you can only hear one word at a time,
All right.
and you can't go back to what you've already heard.
Oh, man.
You probably missed the punchline, wouldn't you?
Totally. Context is everything.
You got it. Older language models, they were kind of like that,
Yeah.
processing text in one direction.
Uh-huh.
But BERT was a breakthrough.
Okay.
It could look at words in context,
Yeah.
both the words that come before and after.
Interesting.
So it could create much richer representations of what those words actually meant in a sentence.
So BERT's secret code, it's not just about, like, individual words,
Yeah.
but about how they all fit together in a sentence.
Exactly.
Like, it's understanding grammar and the nuances of how we actually use language, not just the words themselves.
That's it. And, if you look at figure 2 in the BERT paper, it visually shows this, how it combines information about the individual words, their position in the sentence, and even which part of the text they belong to.
Wow.
It's like building this multi-layered map of each word's meaning.
That's seriously impressive.
Yeah.
So BERT's all about cracking the code of language.
Right.
But what about images? That's where style again comes in, right?
Yes. 2012.04948v3.pdf talks about how style again totally changed how AI generates images.
Okay.
Instead of encoding a whole image at once, it breaks it down into separate parts.
Interesting.
The style and the content.
Okay, hold on. How do you separate the style of an image?
Think of a portrait, right?
All right.
The content is the person's face, their features, expressions. The style is everything else, the lighting, the brushstrokes, if it's a painting, the overall feeling it gives you.
Okay.
And style again found a way to represent these two things independently.
So theoretically, you could, like, take the content of one image, someone's face, and apply the style of a totally different image, like a Van Gogh painting.
Bingo. And that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Figure 3 in the paper shows this style mixing technique in action.
Okay.
It's like swapping outfits on a digital paper doll, but for images.
Wow.
You could take the pose of a model from one photo and put it on someone else's picture, but keep their unique face.
Whoa, that's seriously mind-blowing. It's like having a Photoshop wizard on call.
Right. And to measure how well this separating works, they use things like perceptual path length and linear separability.
Okay, those sound complicated.
It's simpler than it sounds, really.
Yeah.
Imagine morphing between two image styles.
Okay.
Do the transitions look smooth or all jerky?
Gotcha.
The smoother it is, the better the AI is at separating style and content.
So it's not just about making realistic images. It's about understanding What makes certain images look the way they do?
That's a great way to put it.
It's like the AI is developing its own sense of aesthetics.
Yeah, and this has opened up so many possibilities in fields like art, design, even scientific visualization.
This is all so fascinating. We've got BERT decoding language and StyleGAN mastering images.
It's amazing, isn't it?
But are there models that can handle both? I mean, that's where DALL-E's in, right?
DALL-E.
The thing that actually makes images from text descriptions.
It is pretty incredible.
It is.
And 2102.12092v2.pdf explains that DALL-E does this by combining different types of encodings for both text and images into a format it can work with.
Okay, so walk me through this. How does it actually do that?
Well, first it compresses images into a series of tokens.
Okay.
Imagine breaking a sentence into words. It's like that, but for visuals.
Gotcha.
Then it uses this powerful neural network called a transformer to model both the text and image tokens together.
Wait, a transformer, is that the same architecture used in BERT?
The very same.
Ah.
Transformers have become incredibly important in AI, especially for language.
But they're turning out to be useful for other things too, like image generation.
Wow. So DALL-E is basically learning to connect these image tokens with words and phrases.
Right.
And then it can, reverse that process to make an image based on a description.
Exactly.
Like, I could type a fluffy pink unicorn eating a taco, and it would actually create that.
You got it.
Yeah.
And the results are often surprisingly realistic, even imaginative.
Wow.
DALL-E can generate images of things that have never even existed, all from a text prompt.
That's amazing.
But training something as complex as DALL-E is a massive undertaking.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're teaching it to understand language and visuals at the same time. What are some of the challenges with that?
Well, just the sheer amount of data you need is huge.
Right.
And training on that scale needs some really clever techniques to manage all the computing power.
What kind of tricks are we talking about?
The DALL-E paper mentions a few, like mixed precision training, where they use different levels of numerical precision for different parts of the model. So less precision where it doesn't matter as much, which frees up power for the important parts.
Yes, exactly.
That's clever.
And they use gradient compression, too, to reduce the amount of data that has to be shared between different parts during training.
So it's like they've optimized every single step of the training process just to make it possible to train these huge multimodal models.
Right.
That's really impressive. But DALL-E isn't the only model blurring the lines between text and images, is it? There's also CLIP.
Oh, yeah. CLIP.
I understand it actually uses natural language to supervise its learning.
That's right. 2103.00020v1.pdf explains that CLIP learns visual concepts straight from natural language.
Okay.
Unlike a lot of other models, it doesn't rely only on labeled data sets of images.
So instead of being trained on, thousands of pictures labeled cat or dog, it's learning from captions and descriptions that use those words in context.
Exactly.
Like the fluffy cat curled up in the sunny windowsill.
You got it. And this leads to some really fascinating abilities. Well, CLIP's demonstrated something called zero-shot transfer.
Zero-shot transfer.
It means it can actually perform well on tasks it was never specifically trained for.
Hold on, zero-shot transfer. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It does, doesn't it? But it means CLIP can, say, classify images into categories it's never seen before.
Seriously?
Yeah, just by using natural language descriptions of those categories.
So it's not just memorizing labels, it's learning to connect words to their visual counterparts.
Right, like understanding that fluffy and cat often go together visually.
That's amazing.
This ability to learn from natural language makes CLIP so versatile. But it's worth noting that even a model as powerful as CLIP has its limits.
Like what?
Well, as the CLIP paper points out, it still relies on large data sets for training. So while it's a big leap forward, there's always more work to be done.
Okay, so CLIP is really pushing the boundaries of how AI understands both text and images.
It really is.
You know, it's making me think about how we interact with these systems. It's not just about feeding them data. It's about teaching them to understand our language.
Exactly. And that ability to communicate effectively with AI is going to become even more important as these models get more powerful and more integrated into our lives.
This has been such an eye-opening exploration of some truly mind-boggling research. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface, though. What other fascinating applications are out there for these advancements in encoding and representation learning?
Well, we've seen incredible progress in image generation and language understanding, but the impact goes far beyond that. What about areas like robotics or even medical diagnosis?
Ooh, Robots in medicine powered by AI. Tell me more.
Let's start with robotics.
Okay.
Traditionally robots were programmed to do very specific tasks in very controlled environments.
Right.
But with these advancements in AI, we're starting to see robots that can actually learn and adapt to new situations, almost like humans do.
Hold on, are we talking about robots that can, like, think for themselves?
Well, not quite think in the way we do, but they are getting much more sophisticated in how they perceive and interact with the world.
How are they doing that?
A big part of it is the use of encoders and representation learning.
Oh.
By training AI models on massive data sets of images, videos, sensor data, researchers are essentially teaching robots how to see and understand the visual world so they can navigate it effectively.
So instead of being pre-programmed for every possible scenario, they're learning to generalize and adapt based on their experiences, kind of like how humans learn.
Exactly. And that ability to learn and adapt is crucial for robots to be useful in complex, constantly changing environments.
Right.
Imagine a robot that could help with search and rescue after a natural disaster.
Oh, yeah. It would need to be able to, like, assess the surroundings, identify obstacles, and make decisions in real time, all while navigating unpredictable terrain.
You got it. And all of that is powered by these advancements in encoding and representation learning we've been talking about.
It's amazing how these concepts are being applied to such a diverse range of fields.
It is, isn't it?
It's like a common language of intelligence is emerging, one that AI systems are using to understand and interact with the world in increasingly complex ways.
That's a great way to put it. And as this language of intelligence evolves, who knows what incredible capabilities AI will develop in the future?
Okay, so robots are learning to see and navigate the world thanks to these advancements. But what about the field of medicine?
Yeah.
How is AI being used to improve healthcare?
That's another area where we're seeing incredible progress.
Okay.
Medical professionals are now using AI-powered tools to help with all sorts of things, like analyzing medical images, predicting diseases,
Wow.
even personalizing treatment plans for patients.
So AI is becoming like a valuable partner for doctors.
Exactly. Think about the sheer volume of medical data generated every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Images from X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, not to mention patient records, genetic information, countless research publications.
Right.
It's impossible for any human to keep up with it all.
It's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Yeah,
So AI is helping doctors make sense of all that data.
precisely. AI models are being trained to analyze medical images, identify patterns, and flag potential problems that a human eye might miss.
So it's like having an extra set of, like, incredibly sharp eyes
Yeah,
that are specifically trained to spot subtle details and anomalies.
that's a great way to put it. But it's important to remember that these AI-powered diagnostic tools aren't meant to replace doctors. They're there to augment their expertise and help them make more informed decisions.
So it's like having a superpowered assistant
Exactly.
that can help doctors sift through all that data and focus on what's most important for each patient.
That's right, and the potential benefits are huge.
Yeah.
AI could help improve the accuracy and speed of diagnoses,
Okay.
leading to earlier detection of diseases and more effective treatments.
Wow.
It could also help personalize treatment based on a patient's unique characteristics, even their genetic makeup.
So we're moving towards a future of, like, truly personalized medicine, where treatments are tailored to each individual person.
Precisely. And AI is a big part of making that vision a reality.
This deep dive is really opening my eyes to the incredible potential of AI and how it's already changing things in fields like robotics and healthcare.
Yeah,
It's exciting to think about what the future holds.
it is exciting, but, there are also challenges and considerations as we move forward.
Absolutely. Well, we've covered a lot today, from encoders to DELI and C-LIP.
A lot of ground.
But before we wrap up, I want to touch on another area where AI is having a huge impact,
Okay.
the creative industries.
Yes.
It's amazing to see how these models are not only generating creative content, but also making us rethink what it means to be creative in the first place.
It really is a creative revolution.
I'm all ears. Let's dive into that in our next segment.
Let's do it. It really is a creative revolution we're seeing. AI models are composing music, painting these stunning visuals,
Yeah.
even writing poetry. And, some people, they worry about AI replacing human artists.
Right.
But I see it more as a tool, a really powerful tool for collaboration and exploration.
So AI as a creative partner rather than a replacement.
Exactly. Think of it like, I don't know, a painter using a new kind of brush,
Okay.
or a musician experimenting with a different instrument.
Uh-huh.
These AI models are giving artists these new ways to express themselves and to explore uncharted creative territory.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
But how are these models actually being used in creative contexts? Like, do artists literally tell the AI what to create?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
There are AI tools out there that let artists give specific guidelines, like a musical style or a color palette,
Okay.
and the AI generates variations based on those inputs.
So it's like having this creative brainstorming partner that can just like come up with endless possibilities.
That's a great way to think about it, and it can be incredibly freeing for artists.
Yeah.
It lets them break out of their usual patterns and explore new ideas.
Right. Right.
But the collaboration can go even deeper than that.
Oh, how so?
Well, there are some AI models that can actually analyze an artist's existing work,
Okay.
their style, their techniques, the themes they explore, and then it can generate new pieces inspired by that analysis.
Wow. So it's like the AI is learning the artist's creative language
Yeah,
and then using that language to create something totally new.
exactly. And this can lead to some really surprising, really inspiring results.
Huh.
It's a way for artists to like push the boundaries of their own creativity,
Yeah.
to see their work through a new lens and discover possibilities they might never have imagined on their own.
That's incredible. It almost feels like we're witnessing the birth of a new artistic movement,
It does, doesn't it?
one where AI is playing a central role.
It's definitely an exciting time to be following the creative world,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's also important to acknowledge the potential challenges that come with this new wave of AI-powered creativity.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are some of the challenges you see? Well, one question that's being debated is the issue of authorship and ownership.
Oh, right.
If an AI model creates a piece of art or music,
Yeah.
who owns the copyright? The artist who used the tool,
Yeah,
the developers who created the model,
right.
or maybe even the AI itself?
That's a really complex question, and I don't think we have clear answers yet.
You're right. It's a question that legal experts, ethicists, even the artists themselves are wrestling with.
Yeah.
And there's no easy solution.
That's something I hadn't even considered.
Uh,
It definitely adds another layer of complexity to this whole AI art thing.
It does, and it's something we need to keep discussing and debating as AI becomes more and more woven into the creative process.
Okay, so we've talked about AI as this creative partner and the challenges of authorship.
Right.
But what about the actual creative output? Are there any examples of how these models are being used to create like really innovative, groundbreaking work?
Absolutely. There are tons of examples out there.
Oh, yeah.
One area that's especially exciting is music composition. Okay.
AI models are being used to create everything from, catchy pop songs to these complex orchestral scores.
You could literally have an AI compose a symphony.
It's already happening. There are systems out there that can analyze huge libraries of musical data
Really?
and then generate original compositions in all kinds of styles.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. But what about the human element in music? Things like emotion and expression.
Yeah.
Can AI really capture those nuances?
That's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of what makes music so powerful. AI models are getting better at understanding and replicating emotional cues in music.
Okay.
But there's still this something that comes from human experience and expression.
So you think there will always be a role for human musicians?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Music is such a personal, emotional art form.
It is.
And I think human musicians will always have this unique ability to connect with audiences on that level.
Right.
However, AI can be a powerful tool for inspiration and collaboration.
Right. It can help musicians explore new ideas, break down those creative barriers, and really push the limits of what's possible in music.
So it's not about replacing human musicians,
Right.
but about expanding the possibilities of musical creation.
Exactly. And we're seeing similar trends in other creative fields like visual art and design.
Oh, yeah.
AI models are generating these stunning images and designs
Yeah.
that would have been impossible to create manually.
So it's like AI is giving artists superpowers.
In a way, yes. It's giving them access to tools and techniques that let them create things they never could have imagined before.
This is all so fascinating, but I also wonder about the potential downsides.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could AI lead to a kind of homogenization of art
Yeah.
where everything starts to look and sound the same?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
If AI models are trained on limited data sets,
Right.
They could end up producing work that's, well, derivative or unoriginal.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool,
Okay.
and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right. It's up to us, the human artists, to use AI creatively and responsibly, to push the boundaries of artistic expression.
Yeah.
And to make sure that AI-generated art is diverse, innovative, and reflects the whole range of human creativity.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's not about fearing AI, but about using it thoughtfully, intentionally.
Exactly. I think we're only just starting to glimpse what's possible with AI in the creative arts.
Yeah.
As these models get more sophisticated and artists get better at using them,
Right.
I think we're going to see this whole new wave of incredible, groundbreaking creative work.
I'm so excited to see what the future holds for AI and creativity.
Me too.
But before we get too carried away with future possibilities, let's bring it back to one specific model we talked about earlier.
Okay.
CLIP.
CLIP, yeah.
You mentioned how it kind of blurs the lines between text and image representations. Are there any examples of how CLIP is being used in these creative contexts? Absolutely. One really exciting area is in image editing and manipulation.
Oh, okay.
Remember how we talked about StyleGAN's ability to separate style and content?
Yeah.
Well, CLIP takes that to a whole new level.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
With CLIP, you can actually use natural language prompts to guide the image editing process.
Really?
Imagine telling CLIP, make this photo look more like a Van Gogh painting, or add more dramatic lighting to the scene.
Wow.
CLIP can analyze those prompts
and
and then actually apply the changes you requested to the image,
Great.
often with stunning results.
That's amazing. So it's like having a personal AI art director
Yes.
that understands your creative vision and helps you bring it to life.
Exactly. And this is just the beginning.
Wow.
Researchers are exploring ways to use CLIP for everything from generating realistic 3D models based on text descriptions
Really?
to creating entirely new artistic styles that blend elements from different sources.
Wow. The possibilities seem endless.
They really do. CLIP is this powerful tool that's opening up all sorts of new creative avenues.
Yeah.
And it's just one example of how AI is transforming the whole creative landscape.
This is all so mind-blowing. I'm starting to see how these advancements in AI aren't just tools for creation, but like catalysts for a whole new way of thinking about art and design.
I completely agree. It's a paradigm shift.
It is.
AI is making creative tools more accessible,
Yeah.
empowering anyone with an idea to actually bring it to life, regardless of their technical skills.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time.
I know what you mean.
But one thing's for sure, we're living through a period of incredible innovation.
We are.
And I can't wait to see what the future holds for AI in the creative industries.
Me neither. It's a wild ride, and I'm eager to see where it takes us.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with future possibilities,
Right.
I think it's important to remember that AI is ultimately a reflection of ourselves.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, these models are trained on data that we create. Text, images, music, code.
Right.
They learn from our patterns, our biases, even our creative expressions.
Huh.
In a way, they're holding up this mirror to our own collective intelligence.
Yeah.
Both the brilliant parts and the flawed parts.
That's a really insightful observation.
Thank you.
So as we keep developing these increasingly powerful AI tools, we need to be mindful of the data we're feeding them
Right.
and the values we're embedding in their very code.
Absolutely. Responsible development, ethical considerations, and a focus on diversity and inclusivity are absolutely paramount.
I agree.
After all, we're not just shaping the future of AI, we're shaping the future of humanity.
Okay, so we've explored the exciting world of AI and creativity
It is exciting.
and talked about some of the challenges and considerations. But there's one more crucial area we need to dive into.
Okay.
The societal impact of these advancements and what they mean for the future of work.
That's right. AI is automating tasks, creating new jobs, and fundamentally changing the skills we need to thrive in this century.
Exactly. And this raises some big questions about the future of work, the distribution of wealth, and, the very fabric of our social structures.
Those are big questions indeed.
They are.
And those are the ones we'll be diving into in our next segment.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Let's take a closer look at the future of work in the age of AI. Okay, so we've explored how AI is like totally changing the game for creativity.
Yeah.
But now let's get real and talk about something that's, well, probably on everyone's minds. The future of work.
Ah, yes, the big one.
It's a topic that always gets people riled up.
It does.
Some folks are excited about the potential, right?
Yeah, increased productivity, new kinds of jobs, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But then there are others who are worried about, AI taking over,
Right.
leaving humans out in the cold.
It's definitely a topic that stirs up a lot of emotions.
It does.
And it makes sense why people have these mixed feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
On one hand, we could see AI taking care of all those tedious tasks, right?
The boring stuff.
The stuff no one wants to do. Freeing us humans up to focus on more creative, innovative work.
The things AI, at least for now, isn't so good at.
Exactly.
Yeah, imagine a world where we're not, like, drowning in data entry.
Yeah.
Or stuck scheduling endless appointments.
Right.
We could use that time to, like, actually solve big problems.
Yes.
Or even pursue our passion.
Exactly. It's an exciting thought.
Yeah, it sounds pretty amazing, actually.
It does, but then there's that, that fear in the back of your mind.
Oh, yeah, that nagging doubt.
What happens if AI gets too good?
Right.
What about those truck drivers when the trucks can drive themselves?
Yeah.
Or the factory workers when everything's automated? It's natural to worry about losing jobs.
It is.
It's not just about the jobs themselves either.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about livelihoods, people's sense of purpose,
Yeah.
how we adapt as a society to these huge shifts in the workforce.
That's a big one.
It is, and we've seen this throughout history, right?
Right, yeah.
New tech shakes things up.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the Industrial Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible progress for sure.
Right.
But it also led to some major social and economic changes.
Definitely.
So the question is, how do we navigate this new wave of AI-driven change in a way that benefits everyone?
Okay, so big question here.
Hit me with it.
Is AI going to lead us to this, like, utopian future where everyone thrives? Or are we, like, heading for a dystopian nightmare with robots ruling and humans struggling to survive?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball,
Yeah.
but I can tell you the reality is probably somewhere in between.
Okay.
The research suggests AI is going to bring both challenges and opportunities.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's not as simple as good versus bad.
Right, it's more nuanced than that.
It is.
So let's get specific.
Okay.
How is AI already impacting jobs and industries, right now?
Yeah. One of the biggest impacts is in automation.
Right.
AI is increasingly being used to automate tasks that, well, humans used to do,
Yeah.
especially things involving data processing, repetitive actions, even some decision-making.
We're already seeing this, right? Like self-checkout at the grocery store.
Exactly.
Or those chatbots that pop up online.
Yes. And it's happening everywhere, from manufacturing and logistics to finance and healthcare.
Wow.
Self-driving trucks, robots assembling things, algorithms doing financial analysis, it's all happening.
So it's happening now, and it feels like it's only going to speed up from here.
It does, yeah.
What does that mean for people whose jobs are, well, being automated?
Yeah, that's a big one.
What happens to them?
It's a tough question, and there isn't an easy answer.
Right.
Some jobs will be lost. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, technology has always disrupted the job market.
That's true.
Think about, I don't know, the printing press, the automobile.
Right.
The key is to adapt and prepare for the jobs of the future.
Okay, so what are those jobs going to look like? What skills will be in demand in this AI-powered world?
Now that is the million-dollar question.
It is.
It's impossible to predict the future for sure.
Right.
But one thing seems clear.
What that?
Skills involving creativity, critical thinking, and complex problem solving. Those are going to be super valuable.
Okay.
Those are areas where humans still have a big edge over AI.
So we're talking about, like, design thinking, strategic planning, coming up with new solutions to tough problems.
Yes.
Things that require that uniquely human spark.
Exactly. Those skills are so hard to automate.
Yeah.
They often require a deep understanding of human behavior, cultural nuances, even ethics. Things that AI, at least for now, struggles with.
It's almost like AI is pushing us to be more human.
Yeah.
To focus on what makes us unique and valuable.
That's a great way to put it.
In a world where machines are becoming more capable.
It highlights how important it is to invest in education, training programs.
Yeah.
That equip people with these essential skills, the human skills.
It's not just about learning to code anymore, is it?
Right. It's about fostering creativity, critical thinking, empathy, emotional intelligence.
So we need to, revamp our education system to get people ready for this.
We do.
But what about the people whose jobs are already being affected?
Right.
What happens to them?
Another crucial question, It's one we need to think carefully about.
Yeah?
Some experts think that new jobs will pop up as AI creates new industries and opportunities.
Okay.
Think about all the jobs that didn't even exist a few decades ago.
Oh, yeah.
App developers, social media managers, data scientists.
Right.
AI is probably going to create whole new fields we can't even imagine yet.
So it's not just about jobs going away, it's also about new ones being created.
Exactly.
Wow.
But even with new jobs, there's still the problem of helping people move from their old roles to these new opportunities.
That transition period.
That's where things like retraining programs come in. Job transition help, maybe even the possibility of a universal basic income.
Right.
These are complex issues, no easy answers.
No, definitely not.
But we need to be proactive, think about the potential impact,
Yeah.
and take steps to make sure everyone has a chance to succeed in this new world.
I couldn't agree more. This has been like a whirlwind tour of the cutting edge of AI.
It has.
We've seen how it's changing everything.
Everything.
From how robots understand the world to how we think about art.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've explored how it's shaping the future of work itself.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
And I hope this has sparked your curiosity, made you think critically about the amazing possibilities.
It has, for sure.
And the real challenges we face as AI keeps evolving.
Absolutely. And I'm sure our listeners are feeling just as informed and well-inspired. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible world of AI.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.